Her story deals with a subculture of heavy metal music that some feel is sending a dangerous message to your kids.
The forces of evil on the dark side of devil right.
And I want to talk tonight about the devil and demons and witches and wizards.
And we just mix it up with hardcore and aggression and come out with something we think's an original sound.
Loud, fast, heavy, you know.
Well, what do you got?
What do you got?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Riff Worship, the support group for everyone personally affected by Tony Iommi's riffs and Black Sabbath. I'm Justin Swindle, as always, joined by
Justin. I thought we were doing the support group thing.
and Dylan Adams. Today, we are once again thankful to be joined by our friend, host of the podcast Through Being Cool, Pat Fagan, right?
Yep.
Yes, that
work-related reasons and background checks. Yes. Hey, at least I don't have to edit it in this time. That'll be great.
Nope. And thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Patrick, how are you doing?
I am. It's a week of Mondays, but tomorrow's Friday.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm here with you boys, so it's always a good day.
Good to have you back. Dylan, did you read Pat's book?
I did.
Yeah.
I definitely did. Read it in a couple hours, knocked it out. Got it in. My girlfriend's like, "What's that?" I went, "You'll understand soon enough." Read that anticipating everything to be crazy, fully just insane. So good job.
Oh,
wasn't
thanks.
too insane. Wasn't too insane, but good job, man. I enjoyed it.
Thanks, man. I knew you got. I didn't know you finished it.
Oh yeah, that night.
Man, thank you. I appreciate that.
I hope it's the process will be just as quick for you when you do it.
Give a little background. I won't disclose it, but I've been talking about it for years. I walk in there, and the first thing I think I messaged you guys and Lauren was his hands were warm. Having a conversation with him. Very, very nice Indian gentleman, talking to me as they're in his hand. I'm just looking out the window, looking at a church in Bowling
sun.
Green. It's nice out. I'm I got a shit-eating grin on my face because he's just rambling off all the questions he asked. I go, 18 years, man. Haven't not thought about this.
Thanks for taking a little load off for a little while, bud.
Oh, he didn't do that.
You just carry the weight. Just carry the weight. I've been carrying these bags around for far too long today.
Today, we are gonna, through the benefit of time, we're gonna talk about a band who just released a record. We're gonna talk about Converge, and don't think for a second that we planned this to release this episode 2 weeks after the record came out. We're just tripping through life, we're tumbling
Constantly.
all along the way. But Dylan and Austin and I have all talked about Converge on the show before, and we've all answered this question. But Pat, how did you find out about Converge for the first time?
So I remember very vividly. I was driving with some friends of mine to go see Thrice play at the Muse. This is 2000-ish. And I'm in the back seat with friends who are much older than me, who I just happened to meet through mutual friends. I hadn't really hung out with this group of guys really ever. They were just "Hey, we're going to go see Thrice." And I was like, "Hey, can I get a ride?" And they were like, "Yeah, man, sure." So I was like, "Cool." So I just hopped in the car with a guy I kind of knew and two complete strangers. And I'm in the back of the car and they're playing some music and I hear something that kind of catches my ear. And I didn't want to be like, "Hey guys, what's this?" So I
who's Babe Ruth?
Yeah. So I didn't want the Great Bambino moment. So I just kind of stuck my head around the side to see. And this is back in the day where they had the CD players that would have a rolling text.
Yep.
Just intensely blue backlight.
Yeah. Yeah. It was Twitch lighting before Twitch lighting was a thing. It made your car look like you were, streaming. And all I saw I just saw it go across the Poacher Diaries. No, sick band name. And that's what it was. And then we got to the show and I saw no less than 5 Converge shirts. And there was a dude doing backflips wearing a Converge shirt. So I was like, well, they got to be cool. that guy's wearing that shirt. So then I did what every kid does. You get home, you get on Kazaa, LimeWire.
There it is.
And I typed in
The Poacher Diaries.
The Poacher Diaries. And then I typed in, and then I downloaded that. Then I typed in Converge. And I was like, oh, it's the same. They're the same. Okay.
That's the same guy.
Yeah. Fucking egg on my face. And then that's just how it was. Like, I just listened to that nonstop. I'm not trying to be the cool guy who listened to the old album first, but like at that point it was like that. And I think Jane Doe had just come out or was about to come out. And then once that hit, it was just like, absolutely, it's there, inescapable to this day in every facet of heavy music, whether you're going to a show or, you know, checking a band's thank yous, Converge is going to pop up somewhere. So since then, they've just always been a staple.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we've covered them plenty on this show. It's kind of like our very sparsely done Converge discography deep dive, I guess. We did Petitioning the Empty Sky, episode 70. We did episode 90 with When Forever Comes Crashing, and then kind of around the time you're talking with episode 108, Jane Doe. What are we talking about today, Swindle?
Today, we're talking about You Fail Me from 2004.
What a record. I love it. Just fuck them. That's kind of how I would surmise this in one sentence. Oh, you like Jane Doe? All right, here's this one. I don't know who wants to start with this one. This is I'm excited because I feel like going from that record, obviously it's the classic, it's the signature, it's the one that everybody knows. This one, I would argue, rivals it in a kind of a weird way. I think this is right up there on my list, but I'd love to hear from you, Swindle. Like, You Fail Me. Like, what do you think about it?
I think it's great. I messaged y'all in the group chat that it's like 36 minutes long and there are 12 songs. 3 of the songs make up 16 minutes of the album. So there are 9 songs that they fit into like 19 minutes, essentially. So there's 3 songs that are like 4 minutes long each, and then the rest of them are like 2 minutes. So you just like rip through all the rest of them.
I was talking to Swindle about this earlier today. I've listened to this album 3 times today.
Yeah.
I have a beef with this album in a way that is like extremely immature and like and like super like holier than thou for absolutely no reason. Like willing to admit like a dumb thing to still be like, because like I think that unfortunately I wasn't able to be on the Jane Doe episode, and that's, you know, one of my regrets in life.
We'll do it in the Redux.
Yeah, thank you. We'll re-release it. And so like when I heard Poacher Diaries, I heard that, and then I went back and I was like, fucking, what is even like the slower early stuff where I'm like, wow, what is this? This is all wild.
Yeah.
And then like a lot of my friend group is like, I'll go see them because they're crazy, but like I'm not gonna listen to it. And like to me, I took the contrarian response of like, I think it all rips and you're all lame. And then You Fail Me comes out and everybody starts to come around. And like, I'm happy for the band.
Fair.
I'm happy for the band, but I'm just like, what are we doing? This one? This one?
Yeah.
This is the one that you guys are all like, hey, I'm on board now. I'm like, you guys are all a bunch of nerds. You're a bunch of simpletons. So like, and like, I will not say this is not a good album. I won't say that because it's just it's inaccurate to say that about this album, to say it's not good. But to say that it's like my favorite Converge album, like that would be false. So like I have a very like, Swindle mentioned a one thing in particular that I'm just kind of like, what? What's this? So yeah, I have a complicated relationship with this album to this 22 years later. It's like, So I'm interested in hearing what you guys think about this, because I'm just, I don't know. I get my old man bag about this one in a way that I think is stupid.
At least you're ready and willing to admit that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a No Heroes guy. Like that's my favorite Converge record.
Well, that's ludicrous.
I'm with Pat.
See,
on that one.
That's my favorite Converge record because that's the first time I ever heard it. It was the No Heroes single, the video, like just gone for it. I think
the Unreal Engine 5 No Heroes video.
All that sand.
There you go.
All the sand.
I think when you start with like Jane Doe and you move through the rest of this band's catalog, there's kind of an overarching kind of sound, tonal quality to all of it. There's not a bad one of the bunch. There are some that we may prefer over others, right? Like, but there's not a single bad record post that. I said in the group chat earlier today that it seems like Jane Doe, this record, and even No Heroes all were somewhat divisive amongst the fan base. And then once like Axe to Fall came out, it was just universally loved, right? Just kind of accepted by everybody. This one I'm not as familiar with as the rest of them. This was the one that was always like, oh yeah, You Fail Me's great, but I'm not as like fluent with it. It's a ripper. You get an album like Jane Doe that is just kind of the loudest, most aggressive, abrasive fucking thing that came out. And then this record comes out and it's a little bit more like nuanced. There's more kind of rock and roll stuff going on in it. It's mixed differently, which we'll get into. And there's some really rad fucking songs on here. It's short. I mean, it's a ripper of a fucking record. I mean, what are we going to sit on here and do? Just like trash Converge, probably the most respected band in metalcore. Like for the next 2 hours, just go like, hey, neck tattoos, get them the fuck out of here. Like, what are we going to do? Just do
Twitter
this?
had a field day when that new record came out. By God.
Oh my, who all saw the thing that was considering Converge coworker music? I know we loosely talked about it.
Well, I feel like that Knock Loose single came out, so that was kind of like that phrase was kind of like fresh in my frontal lobe, and then then this record came out, Love Is Not Enough, and they were saying, some of the people were saying the same thing. I'm like, what is this? Like all these kids had never listened to like any of these records before coming out of the woodwork. Like
I listened to that thing for like the 4th time in my workout yesterday, and I went, nobody's safe. It's a 30-minute or a 31-minute long record. These guys are in their 50s and they're still making shit like this. It's like, come the fuck on. Like most bands in their 50s that like we all grew up listening to suck now.
Oh yeah.
Like they just do. And it's like, come on. Like they did what I've wanted a lot of bands to do. They released a stripped down, just like hard ass fucking record. Like no frills, nothing. And I think You Fail Me has a lot of the similar elements to that.
I'm going to get my card pulled here. I haven't listened to it.
It's good.
I like it.
It's fun.
I have a weird, like when a new album comes out, that I really want to listen to. I want to make sure I have time to do it. And I was talking to unfortunately a friend of the show, Chaz, and I told him, I was like, he's got some opinions about it. And I was like,
oh yeah.
Okay. But see, me and Chaz are like, we don't butt heads when it comes to like musical taste for the exemption of like Prince William Scott or whatever the shit he's always trying to get me to listen to. Like I told him, I was like, I'll listen to it when I go on a hike, and my hike got canceled because it got cold. So I still haven't listened to it because I want to be able to like put it on and just be like, this is what I'm going to focus on. Cause that's how I like to listen to Converge. Most of Converge. We'll get into it.
All right. We have, as Austin mentioned, we have done episodes on all of the full lengths before, but I guess like an abridged history of Converge is the band starts in 1990 as a 3-piece. Jake, of course, is playing guitar, I think, or maybe bass. Jeff Feinberg on guitar, Damon Bellarado. They meet Kurt Ballou. Kurt joins on guitar. Jeff moves to bass, and Jake, of course, moves to vocals.
We can call him
that. They want to call the band Undertow, but there is a band from Seattle with that name, so they settle on Converge. They record the demo Gravel, and they're giving them away at a show in Boston, and they meet Trey McCarthy, who Jake will go on to start Death Wish with, they also meet Aaron Dalbeck, who will go on to be a Converge guitarist and also be in the band Bane.
You didn't say it right. You have to Bane! Bane!
They release a number of releases that they go on to like combine into the album Caring and Killing. For a moment, because I think Kurt and Jake are in two separate colleges, they think that the band's not going to be able to go on, but obviously they do. Surprise. They release Petitioning the Empty Sky in 1996. In 1997, Jeff Feinberg leaves the band. He's replaced by cave-in Steven Brodsky, who is still in high school. In 97, they also release a slew of 7 inches, some splits and covers. They also play a festival called Really Loud Fest, which is where they are noticed by someone from Equal Vision Records, who they impress.
Steve Reddy, right? Steve? Old Steve. We'll call him Steve.
They impress Steve by making all the nerds mosh, and he wants them to release records on Equal Vision. So in 1998, they released the album, their first full length, When Forever Comes Crashing. Shortly after that, Steven leaves Converge to focus on the band Cave In. They fill his spot with Nate Newton. They think he's only going to be on for a tour, but another surprise. You may all be shocked to know Nate Newton stays with the band. Around that time, the original drummer Damon leaves. He's replaced by someone named John DiGiorgio. He's only in the band for about a year, one release, and he quits. You might be surprised for a third time to find out that he's replaced by Ben Kohler, who Kurt Ballou knew from recording 2 bands, and that mostly shores up Converge's lineup for the remaining of their existence to this day. They release a split, and then in 2001 in September, they release an unheard of, unknown record that you might have to dig up, named Jane Doe. Who cares about that record? Am I right?
I'm already sick of hearing about it.
This is Ben's first record. Jane Doe is Ben's first record writing with the band, and it's Nate's first record living in Boston. So they're still relatively new. Most of the people are relatively new to each other, even still at this point. But 2 kind of important things happen after around the time of Jane Doe's release. One of them is because of Aaron Dalbeck's involvement with Bane. I think he was like maybe taking that more seriously, or just wasn't able to be as serious as he needed to be with Converge. They decide to part ways with Aaron. And that does shore up the lineup to this day. There are no more lineup changes. A second thing that happens around the time of the release of Jane Doe is Kurt Ballou loses his fucking job. He was a fucking scientist engineer, and they told him to get lost.
They were like, scientists don't play guitar, get out of here.
So that kind of leaves Kurt with a question of what he's gonna do. That does make Converge able to kind of take themselves seriously for maybe the first time, because Kurt's not a fucking scientist anymore.
Not that kind of scientist, at least. Beat scientist, maybe, but
hanging out in the Riff Lab.
Yeah.
So that gets us to this record that we are about to talk about. Since Kurt has lost his job, this is around 2001, he decides that he's going to try to take seriously this recording that he's going to do. He's already doing, I guess. He takes some time. He eventually finds a place to move GodCity to, and that takes some time. In addition to that, they have to do construction on the studio. That takes a little bit more time. GodCity opens up in October of 2003, and that's kind of when Converge gets to start meeting in this space to write You Fail Me. And also another reason they weren't really writing is, I guess at that point in Converge, they didn't like have a weekly band practice meeting to try and force like writing or anything. They just tried to only meet when they would have something, have a song, have a riff that they wanted to work out. So things were like a lot more natural, I guess, in the writing process, as opposed to like just meeting every week and try to hammer some shit out, try to,
throw it at the wall, force it. Yeah. I mean, it's probably good. I mean, it sounds pretty organic and calculated. Yeah, it would have been kind of a nightmare, I would assume, to try to like, all right, let's get weird. Who's got the weird shit? Let's go. Let me hear it.
Have you ever been in a band?
I've been in several that have tried to do that for sure.
Yeah.
And they don't exist anymore. So
nothing more soul crushing than like getting here for like 3 hours and just be like, oh no, maybe we want to play something we already wrote.
There's something really nice about getting in a room and you're like, all right, we've got X amount of time. Let's get in there. Let's see what we can hash out. There's something very kind of poetic about that. But then ultimately it's like, if we're just sitting around with our puds in our hands, we all know what we're going to end up doing. The beer is going to start going. This is just going to turn into trash. Like someone's just going to start playing licks from some fucking rock record from 20 years prior for no fucking reason. For me, it was always playing like a 16 lick just to piss Swindle off. But like, we know, like if you show up and you've got 4 different things, it's like, fuck, thank you. Like someone brought the pizza. Like we're good.
Yeah. I just remember like being in a room and just having like nothing. Just three or four people, like, I got nothing. And then like a singer, you know, like when I was in Make History, we'd be like writing stuff, and then like Jason would come in, and luckily Jason played guitar, so we would just be sitting, like you said, like thumbs in our butts, nothing. And Jason would just be over in the corner like playing something, and we're like, "Fuck is that?
Shut up,
dude!" And then like it turns into like, even though it is cool, you refuse to admit it because that's the singer. Like, shut up, turn off. Put that down. Like, there are probably so many cool songs that could have been written where we're just like, fuck, no.
No.
You write about girls and shit. Nah, put that down. We handle the strings, dude.
I guess I did skip a third important thing between after Jane Doe was released. They are no longer in business with the record label, Equal Vision Records. Their contract ran out, and there are like some conflicting quotes, but it seems generally that maybe they had some friend bands that were on Equal Vision Records that they didn't like appreciate how those bands were treated, maybe, so they didn't really feel comfortable continuing on with Equal Vision Records. So they go on a hunt to find a record label, and
boy, did they find
know that Jacob Bannon owns a record label, Death Wish Records, but surprisingly they didn't get involved. They didn't really want to mix their band business with Jacob's record label business at the time, so they went with Epitaph Records, which is another shocker. We're all surprised to hear that.
So,
especially at this point in time.
Okay, I'm glad Pat brought that up. I went and looked at like Epitaph's 2004 releases, it's mainly like a Bad Religion record, a bunch of Bad Religion remasters and re-releases, and like just a smorgasbord of just random shit. But what I did like was like the band was really interested in signing to Epitaph more so because of the anti-label that was a subsidiary, right? Tom Waits.
Tommy Boy Waits.
Real Gone came out that same year. And it's like, okay, there's kind of a weirdness to that. I think Nick Cave may have even been on Anti at this time. Like a lot of kind of odd and weird artists, right?
I think Plague Soundscapes, Locust releases on Anti.
Yes, you're right.
Oh, damn.
Yep, you're right. But like even now, looking at Converge, still being on Epitaph Records is still pretty strange. I mean, that label has done so many different things and
just say it. There's a lot of swoopy white belt shit. You can say
there
it.
you
I'll
go.
say it.
Oh, no.
I'll say
What
it.
on,
Yeah.
They put out a fucking Weezer record a few years ago.
Did they
Barf.
really?
Anti-Doe?
There's so much
Epitaph.
shit.
Oh,
Epitaph had like this great early 90s present of like, and late 80s of releasing these great fundamental hardcore records. And then like early 90s happened, the punk explosion happened, and then something happened
Warped
in
Tour.
between. Yeah, there you go.
Journey's comps.
There you go. Like Punkorama stuff, like all of that. And then the 2000s happened and they couldn't quite get a hold, but they still had this band. They still had Converge, like still releasing records through Epitaph. Obviously Death Wish handles like, you know, distribution and everything like that. But what a weird choice. And to find out the band was actually interested in the label beforehand was pretty fucking wild.
On some tour, they had gotten to tour the Epitaph facility, and that's when maybe they gained their first interest in Epitaph as a business, as a partner. But I guess we can get right into the writing of this record. Going into making You Fail Me, they I think most bands would want to release a direct follow-up to something like Jane Doe. Maybe at the time, people still weren't head over heels in love with that record. But I mean, obviously now through the 25 years of time, Jane Doe is obviously like a American hardcore classic, like one of the best. Most bands would be like, if everyone loves that, we gotta fucking redo it. But they had no interest in remaking Jane Doe at all. From the get-go, they were just like, oh, we gotta do something different or else like we're not gonna be able to move forward, kind of.
that makes sense. I mean, yeah, hearing Nate being like, I could feel like if we had released Jane Doe 2, we would have been like pigeonholed to this sound. And like, if you've already done it, like, not like necessarily like, I mean, there are definitely records that are abrasive and fast and chaotic, but like at the time, you're like, well, we already fucking did that and we did it really well. Let's just fucking do a 180 on this and kind of still have some of that, but let's change it up a little bit, like introduce some other elements. And hearing the record that kind of inspired that to a degree was pretty fucking interesting too.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that at all.
Right. They said they got a lot of the inspiration from Queens of the Stone Age record.
That's interesting.
Songs for the Deaf, right?
Songs for the Deaf. That's it. That's the big record. I don't hear it really on this record. Like Ben's a great drummer. Obviously, Grohl on that record's a lot of fun. I really couldn't even find a lot of comparisons to it other than that Songs for the Deaf is just a kind of raw sounding record. The production on it's pretty hairy and gnarly. And this has that too. That's the only connection. Cause like, I don't see Converge ever doing a No One Knows.
Right.
Or like Feel Good Hit of the Summer at all. Right.
Right. They said they kind of wanted to make this next record feel like a live set, like kind of ease people into it and maybe ease people out of it and make it make it abrasive and raw, and maybe there's some like ebb and flow. And they actually did work out all or most of these songs live before they even recorded.
Yeah.
Which I think was a big difference from Jane Doe. Apparently, they weren't really interested in working out those songs live before they recorded them.
I don't know if it was mentioned before, like, because Kurt lost his job, they had been touring pretty heavily in between records. So, you know, they had all these live dates for a couple years, and then they ended up building the studio for like, I don't know, like a year and a half. To hear they were working on it, they had, I don't know if we want to get into it now, but they had like the title of the record, they had the imagery of the record already. I think I saw they were selling shirts with like the hand or like the title already on it. So yeah,
Converge
interesting
futures.
Right.
They were hawking Converge futures to people.
Oh my god.
But like, wasn't even like it said, I don't know if it was prior to the release or recording of the album or after, where they were like, yeah, people were kind of like trying to make heads or tails of it a little bit.
Yeah, that's got to be a tough thing to do, because I think at this point they were probably like either headlining or, you know, support for the headliner, and so like people were like, they had the songs they wanted to hear, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So it would be, it does take, it takes some balls to be like, all right, here's a song that we're kind of done with it. See what happens. And then to, you know what I mean? To have it to kind of go over how it sounded like they didn't go over that great at the time. That's got to be like a real kick in the dick.
I mean, think of the Mastodon record.
I was going to bring that up. Leviathan, they had all the songs done, did a tour up to the studio, played nothing but Leviathan as a whole. And by the time they got to the studio, Matt Bayless, the producer, was like, don't ever do that again. You guys are fried. Don't ever do that again. The songs were tight.
Crazy.
Yeah, people just fucking screaming, "Saddest Day, play the Saddest Day" at him, like they're just like
getting big up.
No.
Getting Impress Me Bro. People trying to impress me, bro, to Converge. That takes some dick.
You know, especially when like most of this music from this band is like makes you want to act like a feral fucking dog half the time. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you're gonna like, who's got the bigger balls? Like, come on.
They wanted to experiment a lot more with this record. They were more interested in being stripped down and maybe being nastier and noisier. They were interested in doing a bunch of experimentation, something like the song In Her Shadow, which they said was, Kurt said, and this is a fucking crazy quote, Kurt said all that was their first successful attempt at a mellow song. All the mellow songs on When Forever Comes Crashing come across as misguided doo-wop. And that's just an insane quote. I've never once heard a Converge song and been like, I can really snap my fingers to this.
Dude, I'd play
what
those
the
at the
fuck
sock
do you
hop,
mean?
dude. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
They're Sadie
to the
Hawkins
hop.
songs.
Hell yeah.
Girls Ask the Boys.
Dill, you ever been to a Sadie Hawkins dance?
Do you think I've ever been to a high school dance at all? After as long as you guys have known me, I went to every dance party afterwards, but no, didn't do it.
Dill spiked the punch. That's what he did.
I went to a homecoming at a high school I didn't go to. Fucking cleaned up, dog.
Hell yeah, dude. I did go to a Sadie Hawkins dance at a all girls Catholic middle school, and the nuns.
I hope they wore their goulashes when you rolled in, buddy.
The nuns were just
None
amongst
too
the dance. Boo. All right. Anyway, In Her Shadow, Hang Moon, In Her Blood. First song.
Motherfucking penguin.
That cuts out. I'm never talking to you guys again.
They also were experimenting with some different tunings. They didn't say what the tunings were, but Nate kind of described "You Fail Me" as their amphibian reptile record,
amphetamine
like
reptile.
Melvin's amphetamine reptile record, something like Melvin's record.
Yep.
One promising thing Ben said though was he showed Adam McGrath and Steve Brodsky from Cave-In a couple of the songs from this record before it came out, and they were very excited. So Ben, once he saw Steven Brodsky like excited about what they were about to release, he like knew that it was something good and something important.
Yeah, if the dude who wrote Big Riff is big up in your riffs, that's fucking sweet, man. Thanks.
Brodsky knows ball for sure.
You know, one thing I wanted to bring up too, obviously this album comes out in 2004 and like 2003. So like this is very much post Jane Doe and kind of it's starting to weed its way to younger people. And think of this band playing on bills with bands that did really poor versions of what that band did 2 years prior or 3 years prior at this point. Like you have all the kind of like the Converge rip-off acts or influenced acts that are coming out, and they're wanting to separate themselves from that by writing a record that's still very much a Converge record, but has much more kind of nuance to it and has much more kind of, I said it earlier, like hair to it, right? You know, it's not as like polished and pristine. And I know Kurt himself has made statements about like production, and obviously he's known for that. You know, he even listed like Killswitch Engage, which are fellow like metalcore, you know, comparisons from the same area as well. Like those records are very polished and sound very like recorded to a click, and there's no noise, there's no kind of character to them. They're records that are presented the way that they're presented. And then like a Converge record is kind of the antithesis to that, where you can hear sticks getting rattled, someone's coughing in the back of the record, like all sorts of shit. And or they're playing drums and you can hear the overhead mics in it. But to see
James Taylor,
playing
the studio over,
wanting to separate themselves from the pack too, probably also impacted the way they're writing songs for this record.
I was looking at No Heroes earlier, just looking at the track list, and there I remembered that there was a band from Bowling Green named Trophy Scars in like 2007. Like the year after that record came out, they were like, "Oh, we are going to name our band after this Converge song."
Yeah, but there's a band called Trophy Scars that predates the Converge song called Trophy Scars. So when that band was playing in Bowling Green, I was like, "Get on Discogs, you nerds! Like, do some work! Like, do some fucking work! Like, what are we doing?" Like, I remember they were fine, but I was just like, "You're not even trying anymore." Oh, we're Metallica. Hey, we're Metallica, and we're playing Night Class this week. Like, stop it. This record does this to me.
Yeah,
right. It's just this record.
Fault, though,
it's just this record. It makes me say things I don't mean.
One thing I did like about the songwriting too, where I think they kind of talked about it on like maybe records that came after, was like they kind of for the most part kept everything in house. They're like, we'll just do all the shit, and that certainly affected a lot of the writing and arranging on this record. There's like one other person on the record, technically. Sean Mosley on some piano for In Her Shadow. I know he operated and owned the studio where parts of this record were recorded, Witch Doctor Studios, but it seemed like he just was like Kurt's neighbor for the most part, right?
He just wanted to go find, I know somebody on this street has a piano. I've heard him play it. I gotta go find him and talk to him.
Yeah, just happens to be a classically trained piano player. Went to Berkeley, and he's like, "Look, can I use your studio space?" And then I guess he just like ended up playing on the record. So,
do you think it's because Kurt walked in and was like, "Ding, ding, 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 ding."
God.
The guy's like, there's no way you're coming in here doing that. Yeah, it's just like, hot cross buns, hot cross buns.
Fucking plays chopsticks super slow.
Yeah, I just imagine him sitting down and like ripping it and just being like, oh, I haven't played in years. You know what I mean? Like one of those guys. And just, whatever, man. Just those dudes who's like naturally good at everything immediately.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, fuck Sean Mosley.
I do think it's interesting that this record, I guess it makes sense because they're still very new to each other. The four of them just being a four-piece, they just write this record together. They don't have anybody else even like come and do vocals, but after the record comes out, we'll talk about they are like kind of thinking of doing collaborations with Cave-In. That doesn't really like come to fruition at that point. And also the records after this have like Axe to Fall especially has a million people doing vocals and shit on that record. So I think it's interesting that they were so anti-collaboration for this record specifically, but then like shortly after they're like opening the doors to work with other people pretty soon.
I don't know. Think it worked out for him. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. Possibly.
Legacy band. Yeah.
Another thing that's very striking about this record is the album artwork.
No, not this band. No fucking way.
I mean, maybe even more than Jane Doe. This is a very striking album cover.
I think before I even heard it, I knew the cover.
Yeah,
easily. Like I could picture it in my head, and I like just as a admirer of the record and the art. I mean, it's like super minimal, like as compared to like everything else they've done. Like this is the less, I mean, it's bleak, or at least that's what I take from it, is that it's a bleak cover, but
and then you read the title.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
but it's the least amount of things going on compared to anything else.
It's I think it's the most immediate, right? Like you see that, obviously it's a slit wrist. Before you see the title, you go, okay, I think I can pretty well gauge what this record's going to be about. Whereas like something like Jane Doe is very unknown, right? You have to listen to the record to fully encompass what that image is, right? And what that means. And even the records that come after, there's so much more, said this before, nuance and depth to it. I look at this record's artwork and how it ties in, kind of like my favorite Cannibal Corpse record, Kill. Album cover is literally the title. There's nothing else on it. It's red. It's the title. You have you already know what you're getting. It's like, oh, okay, just a barragement of whatever the fuck I'm getting. Same thing goes for this record. Like you loosely know what you're getting with it. It's like, okay, I'm going to be really bummed out, but it seems like it's going to be really aggressive and uncomfortable.
Yeah. People in the band also have varying opinions. Nate fucking loved the cover. He said it was hands down, it was his favorite Converge album cover. Kurt kind of has like ambivalent feelings about it. He trusts Jake as an artist, and he believes in all the work he does, but it seems like he thinks like the imagery is maybe a little like dark, like just the bleeding out hand. Ben is just like, it's Ben's a drummer, so he doesn't. He's just like, yeah, it's art, man. It's cool.
Hell yeah.
But Jake kind of in explaining the cover, in explaining the piece, he says people misinterpret it as just being dark, but he sees it as a stitched wound. Someone kind of like recovering from being in a dark place, and if you like open up the cover, the hand that's dripping blood the blood turns into hearts. So it's kind of, he says it's like a kind of easy visual metaphor, but he he also really likes it, and that's good because he fucking made it. So why wouldn't he like it, you know? Next, we'll get into the recording of the record. Of course, Kurt recorded this as he recorded Jane Doe, and going forward into Converge's discography, it was mastered by mastered by our man Alan Douches.
Douches. That's it. How you said it the first time.
Always say it right.
Yep.
Mixed by Matthew Ellard, returning, who he was the primary mixer of Jane Doe, but he just had a hand in this one. An interesting thing, kind of like the biggest part of the mixing and the mixing and recording process was, at least the mixing was done during the summer in Boston, and it was in brownout. It was mixed during brownouts in the middle of summer, because I guess at the beginning of the day it was cooler, and then as time went on in the day and it got hotter, the power would start to go out intermittently. So Matthew and Kurt would be in the middle of mixing a song, not on computer, analog, mixing a song with four hands on a I can't think of the word.
Tapes and all sorts of shit.
Control board.
Yeah, four hands on the control board, sliders, and the power would just go out, and they would have to stop for however long the power is out. And they only had Matthew for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, I think wasn't it shorter than that? It was like, I think they initially had like, I could be wrong, but if anybody can see it in the doc,
6 days.
But then they even had to smush it down to like 3 or something. Because I thought like the power was out so much that they ended up having to do all that work in like 3 fucking days or something like that.
It's so wild to me that the heat was causing brownouts in like the New England
Boston
area.
Right.
I'm actually looking at the weather right now to figure out, because I'm just saying, as a Southern gentleman.
Okay, that's where I was getting
to
at.
hear that it was super hot in Boston in 2004. I'm just kind of like, what was it, like high 70s?
Where's a farmer's almanac when you need it, right?
Like, so you're telling me that the South had some sort of one up on like basing it off the heat when they recorded records down here? It's like, come on. Like, oh yeah, it's just, it feels like soup in May. Like, we're fine. Like, we're totally fine.
You've heard Down?
And also, the thought, like, I just got this building fucking set up. I'd put in all this shit and the power's going out. My butthole would be tight.
That was another thing that they were saying about Matthew's mixing of the record is, when they recorded Jane Doe and mixed Jane Doe, it was kind of like on Matthew's board, but Matthew came to GodCity and worked on Kurt's board, which he had never worked on before. So in addition to the brownouts and like having to lose their work and restart over and over again, Matthew was like pretty unfamiliar with the mixing board that they were working on at the time.
I love that. You're like, hey, I'm going to bring in the guy. Like, I'm still kind of learning. I'm still trying to figure out my way through this. Not super confident about the mixing of the record. I'm going to bring in the primary engineer from the last record, and he's going to hopefully like help me guide it. And then it's like, I don't know.
Also, Matthew Ellard noted for not knowing anything about this genre of music.
Right.
But guys, real quick, if you indulge me, according to the information I found, the July 2004 was considered unusually cold, making it the 26th coldest July on record. So if we were assuming the record was recorded in 2003, it looks like the high temperatures for that area were 78.3 degrees.
Eat a dick.
It's hot up there. That's hot for that. That's hot for the Northeast.
Come on, dog.
God, dude, it was 90 plus in Arkansas in February. What are we talking about?
Man. 78 degrees. Better better. Open the windows. We got to cook eggs on the sidewalk.
Oh, they're cooking beans, dude.
Wow.
The Boston baked beans.
Yeah.
I mean,
I gave it a shot. I don't know.
Roll that beautiful.
You're not going to
footage.
brew tea in a river at that time of year. History.
God.
Wow, that's a history podcast.
Yeah. George Washington, a real bumblebutt. Ask me about it.
Kurt's feelings about the mixing of this record would go on to fuel kind of the Redux, which I am sure we'll talk about. But he was very happy with like the performances on the record. He said when he like listened to the songs to remix them for the Redux, he was like A-okay with how he played when they recorded the record, just not the actual mixing of it, I guess.
I listened to both versions, like kind of intermixed, and they're not vastly different. No, they really aren't. I think the newer remasters just a little bit more modern sounding. Yeah. I thought the original sounded great.
He did say he added more bass is one thing that he specifically said.
The Redux, I think, sounds less like a Kurt Ballou joint than the original recording. In a strange way.
Try to stay true to the original. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. We could get into it later, but like, I mean, just the way that he had to recreate that essentially from the ground up is kind of bonkers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it sounds bad. I can see where like if you're comparing it to Jane Doe, certainly it's going to sound a little thinner. Like it doesn't sound as like necessarily abrasive. I mean, even like the tone of it on purpose it's not supposed to sound like that, but I love it. I think I don't mind the production on this one bit.
Before we get into the track list, I do want to say that as far as the lyrics go, the kind of the overarching theme of this record is maybe a sequel. Unlike the sound of the record itself, maybe the lyrical theme of the record is a sequel to Jane Doe. As we noted in the Jane Doe episode, that record is kind of about is about a breakup that Jake went through, which he was writing it all out, trying to get all his feelings out, hoping that kind of the thing that we all hope about art is that it's a expression of your feelings to get all your feelings out and move past them. But it didn't work. It didn't happen. It's like that Sopranos line. It's like, you ever feel like nothing good was ever going to happen? Yeah. And nothing did. So so it didn't really help his feelings out. And then when it didn't, he just still was super depressed. And after the release of Jane Doe, he kind of started looking inward into himself and how maybe he failed himself and how some of his friends failed him and he failed them. We all fail each other. And that's how he kind of came at the lyrical theme of this record. One quote is, at that point, I continued to write and continued to do a great deal of soul searching. In that, I found so much failure in myself, friends, and loved ones. These are our songs of failure, how we fail each other and how we fail ourselves. It's about standing up and taking responsibility. It's about facing that demon. It's about putting the practice of living in front of the act of dying every day. It's about surviving. I like the quote too, where he's like, I think it was in the Decibel article. He's like, did you ever talk to any of the people that you kind of like directed these songs at? And he was like, oh yeah, I had some conversations and I don't know if it worked, but we had them and they're still close to me. Yeah.
You kind of be telling on yourself if you were like, hey, Jake, so heard dropout.
Anything you want to tell me?
We good? Are we good? We're good now, right?
I'm gonna take a stab at the dark here and just say,
like that. If you gotta ask, it is kind of thing,
right? Yeah,
that's about a different friend that's drinking themselves to death. That's not you. No, that's a different guy.
A different guy who did all the things you did. But it's not you.
So that's it. That's kind of the background for You Fail Me. We can get into this record. This is, we talked about it in the chat. This is the only Converge record ever that doesn't just smash you right in the fucking face immediately.
Yeah.
There is like a little bit of wind up in this record, and it's the only one that you're gonna get that does that.
And I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's fine.
It's great.
No, I meant like they never did it again.
I agree with Pat on this one. First Light's cool. Last Light is a really great song. It's a continuation of the intro track, but man, to have like Black Cloud open this fucking thing up would just like.
I think we're gonna hit on the same thing. Maybe, I don't know. I think I love every song on here. I don't think there's a bad song on here. I think there's something to love about each track. I do love the way the album opens. I think if you're going to be different, why not start the record out in a different manner? I don't think it hurts the record. I did kind of like ask myself this a lot. I'm like, what if this would have ended the record? What if this song would have started the record? I think it is kind of like,
yeah,
it's not necessarily sequenced bad, but could it have been better? Maybe. Like, I think there are songs that could have wound up maybe more towards the middle of the record. There are songs that I could have seen ending the record. But again, like, I don't think there's a bad song on here. Never. Like, I enjoyed just about everything about this album.
I think Last Light's it's a really cool slow breather resist song, which I know is topical to like what you guys just released as of when this is being recorded. I was talking about it with one of my friends who's from Louisville, and I was like, hey, I'm not crazy, right? This is the most Louisville sounding Converge song, right? And like he listened to it and he goes, oh shit, yeah, that sounds like a lot of the stuff that came out around or was coming out before Last Light was recorded. And I know they're friends with Breathe the Resist. I'm sure they were aware of bands out of Louisville.
Charmer,
and they were it's same.
Charmer came out
same time.
Yeah, I think that it came out in October, correct?
I couldn't tell you. I just know it came out the same year.
Okay, I know that it came out. So again, like I heard that song and I was like, yeah, this is the most like Breathe the Resist sounding song on the album. Not that it's a bad song, but I'm with Dylan on this, where I'm just like, why is this the first song?
First of all, I fucking love Last Light. I think lyrically it encapsulates 100% like the quote, the Jake Bannon quote that I read right before we started this, like the searching within yourself to get past the failures, that like is perfectly encapsulated within the song Last Light, which makes complete sense. If it's going to be the first song with lyrics on the album, why not have it as a thesis statement, kind of like Thou did in all the episodes that we talked about?
It's almost the most intelligible that Jake has been, I think,
on the entire record.
Any Converge release, and this album included. Yep. It's the most like, I won't call it youth crew, but like it's the most just like straightforward, like him just yelling versus the more metallic side of his voice. And I think that he's embraced the more clean yell more in the later records. And I think this was like the first time that I was like recognized, like, oh, yeah, okay, he's doing this now. That's cool.
Yeah. If you're going to start the record off, you might as well do it with like, again, here's like a different vocal approach. Cause like, you know, even with some of the songs where he's like singing on this record, as opposed to like the previous records where it's almost like a padded cell kind of like the way the delivery is. Yeah. This is like him actually. Yeah, it's more of a yell. There's other moments on the record that are different, but if you're going to have that different approach, I think fucking start the record off with that. Really, like if you're coming from Jane Doe expecting that, like this is a fucking curveball.
Yeah.
There's a kind of a feeling of like calling for the pain to end as the vocals kicking on this record, of like a shedding of the skin, per se. Like, hey, I'm working through whatever the fuck this is, and we're going to work through it for the next 37 minutes. We're going to filter through all of this. But like Austin's right. There's tracks where Jake is singing on this album, I mean, Inner Shadow, like very Tom Waits-esque, like he's singing on that thing. And that's not the only time he's doing it. But like you look at a track like that, I guess you have to have a Last Light to have an Inner Shadow, right? You have to have tracks of that nature on here to show the kind of like dynamics that this band has, and probably we're just really starting to demonstrate on this record, and that we know has become signature Converge for the rest of their career, right? Like on up to the more recent records. I have a caveman brain. I have nothing but like, give me blistering immediately, cool me off later kind of thing. But like, as to what Austin said, there's not a bad track on this record.
I personally think it works better. I mean, if you want to take First Light out, that's fine, or combine it with Last Light and it's just one track. I think that it being at the beginning is better than like as the album is laid out now, it's like Last Light, and then there's like 3 songs that are just blisteringly fast, and they all kind of like smash together, and then there's the like really long one that's one riff all the way through.
Yep.
And then the slow one. It makes more sense that way to have all 3 smashing songs back to back to back, as kind of like, we're going to play all 3 of these back to back to back, take a second to tune, and like do noises in between the songs, and then play like a different part of the set than it does to have like Black Cloud, and then a slower one, and then another really fast one, and then a slower one, and then another really fast one. Like, why split up those 3 really fast songs when they could be back to back to back?
Yeah, because Black Cloud, Dropout, Hope Street, those all start like, I was like, classic Converge, Chaos, fast hardcore intros. They all start like, and they're all pretty, I mean, they're like a little over 2 minutes, those first 2, and Hope Street's like a minute long, basically.
Right.
So yeah, I thought that kind of like back to back was good. And then there's like all sorts of weird shit in them still. I mean, all of those songs are fun as fuck.
I fucking love Black Cloud.
Well, I was going to say, not even getting rid of songs, not even splitting songs up. Like, you move those 3 fast ones like right after the intro hit with Last Light. Because the way I look at sequencing, I want to end A-sides on like the relaxing thing, like the cool off. Start the next half up. That's just where my brain goes with a lot of sequencing, is like, give me all the aggro shit. Let's cool off for a minute. Let's get a breath. Let's have a palate cleanser per se. And then let's kick back into it.
It still kind of does do. I assume the A side ends with "You Fail Me," which is, that's the one where they play kind of, it's like a slower one. And it's like the same riff throughout the
It is.
song.
It really
kinda
doesn't change the entire song.
Which I almost, that was kind of one song I thought like, this could have ended the record if we just ended
Correct.
on that like dirge. Like,
Yep.
that
Yeah.
would have been fine. I would have liked that.
That's one of my favorite songs on the record. It's one part, but it just kind of fucking builds for 5.5 minutes.
I love they describe that as the God Flesh meets Sonic Youth
Yeah.
section
Yeah.
of the song.
Are you guys
and
talking about, is that In Her Blood?
You Fail Me.
You Fail Me.
title
The
track.
title
Yeah.
track.
The title track.
Okay. I got it. I wrote, no, I'm not going to.
I thought
I
they
wrote
were
bathroom
talking.
or merch purchase song.
You don't like it? Not a
I
fan?
don't like it. If I could, like, so I want to swing before we get too far. I want to go back to what you said, because what you and Dylan said makes my comment make more sense now about like, because I wrote Black Cloud and I put, if someone asked you what Converge sounded like, even to this day, Black Cloud's a song I would play for them.
Yeah.
So to not have it be the first song, given what you guys talked about and what the band has talked about how they didn't want to start with Converge, you know what I mean? So having Last Light, knowing that, having that background, it makes the sequencing of having Last Light, not just because it's called Last Light following First Light, we get it. Look, Converge are nothing if not artists. And I don't mean that like in a shitty way. I mean, like everything they do, whether they'll admit it or not, and I think they would, is like it's calculated to an extent, right? So like having Last Light be the first one is interesting because one, there's two pylons. There's two pylon lyric parts, which you don't really get out of an opening track. Usually that's a end of an A-side or an end of the album thing. And you know, there's a Fear Before ripoff riff. Now, who came first? I don't know. Did the Fear Before record come out a month before this one? Maybe. Maybe. But I'm talking about the open E, the it's like it's like it's not just a drop D open E breakdown. It's got the higher notes in it. Something that I've stole it. Swindle, Justin, do you like Bears? Go listen. It's in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We lifted it. Yeah. So hearing what you guys have explained to me now I appreciate. That's what this is, if nothing else, right? I've learned that putting Last Light makes sense artistically, but to Patty Boy and Dylan's dumb ears, give me riff. Give me riff, make mad.
That Black Cloud, the fast main Black Cloud riff is so weird because it seems like every time they play it, the timing is different. Like it's a little fucking different every single time they go through the riff. It's crazy.
And that's a testament not only to the band, but Ben as a whole is a stellar fucking drummer. His playing on there's points all over this record I could pick out, but just the fact of like, he's got a snap in a way that he plays that changes things without changing them, that adds a different vibe, a different feel to it. And I mean, fuck, you look at the final track, right? You look at like Hanging Moon, like that's essentially like a drum lesson, the entire track. Like there's D beats on it and spots that wouldn't have D beats in it. Like it's just him going like, hey, we're going to get real fucking weird on this last track.
I think Hanging Moon, the riff is the drums. I actually don't think there's... I don't think there is a real guitar part in that song.
No, I agree.
It's just drums make the riff.
It's if anything, it's the rhythm section doing that, because like there's some fun bass shit on that song too.
Nate, like underrated player, like very much holding the ground while like Kurt's doing all of his fucking noise making and shit. That's a lot of fun, but like Nate kind of being like the Newstead of this band and like being the live interactive guy, but also still being a really solid fundamental bass player by playing really kind of inventive shit without really making a point of doing that. You're just a fun fucking bass player. Like his tone is really good on this record. He cuts through everything. It's huge. I think it's You Fail Me, right? That's it. Because it starts out with the droning guitar and then like stereo right is that bass cutting through. And it's like, oh, it just sounds like he's playing through an old Mesa Boogie dual rec, like and an Ampeg blended or some shit. Like it's just loud and just in your face. He's playing like stuff on here that I wouldn't necessarily have pinned him to playing, like these weird descending lines. But also knowing when to lock in and like do the old school like Lemmy Motorhead thing, which, you know, a lot of the really heavy guitars on here sound like In Tune meets Motorhead to me. Like there's this great tone on here that's just fucking like Wolverine blues, like just
which I believe they covered on an Napalm Death Split.
They did. You're right.
Is that okay? Yeah.
And I think John Pettibon did vocals on that.
Of course.
I think.
From Undertow.
There you go.
Look at you guys. Wow. Can I be the contrarian on Hanging Moon? Can I be the contrarian on Hanging Moon?
Sure. Okay. Absolutely.
All right. Are you guys okay? I have a personal beef with the song Hanging Moon specifically.
Okay.
Because are you guys familiar with the band Listener?
No.
The name, yes.
Okay. There was I'm about to either expose you guys to some.
I just want to say, I have a beef with this, but also it's about a thing kind of not directly related.
It is though.
Oh, okay.
I think that this, because you know how like around this time when Converge came out, like you guys have mentioned, a lot of bands were like, we could do that, and they failed miserably. Mm-hmm. Well, there are these two gentlemen who formed a band called Listener who found a way to take Hanging Moon and make it their whole band. It is essentially a guy kind of playing an acoustic guitar and another man just having slam poetry, having a feeling. And it's abysmal. It's horrible. I have been, unfortunately, it's some Christian poetry, which right there, right off the bat, two things I'm not. Poets, I get it. Congratulations. You're just people who are too annoying to be in a band with. Let's all face it. And so like I say that because I say that with I got lots of friends who are very successful. Go with God, praise Jah. But this band listener has found a way. Yeah. Has found a way to like, just that their whole band is that song. Like they've just made a career out of just doing that. And I think if Hanging Moon had never come out, this would never happened. And because it was just this gentleman with a handlebar mustache and a swoopy,
of course,
hair, a swoopy hairline, cut, and he's just wiggling and like having a feeling. And I remember they were playing a show at a show I was at, and I walked out of the room and I was walking past I was like, this can't be real. And I was walking out. And another gentleman said, "Is that guy still in there embarrassing himself?" And I was like, he sure fucking is. He sure fucking is. And so I think that had we not had I think that Converge hanged Moon so that listener could Christian poet. And for that, I'll never forgive them.
We gotta go back. Pat's like, we gotta go back and stop Skynet. Like we gotta,
we gotta go. We gotta go back and stop Hanging Moon because then we got listener.
I do like it though. I like the way the acoustics are done on this record. Even in this track, it was kind of, you know what it reminded me of? That like blown out sound was kind of like a Violent Femmes record almost. Like they are acoustic and it kind of sounds like it kind of punches in the same way. It sounds kind of blown out. But yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty bad. I'll be honest with you, but I do like this song.
I have to say it should not have ended the record.
No.
And I think In Her Shadow does the whole blown out thing a lot better.
It
just gets it gets cacophonous there at the end. Like it just pushes to the fact that everything's distorted, right?
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be this atmospheric thing. And it makes me think of like Inner Arma's New Heaven, kind of like with a lot of the stylistic choices that are made on there. Like there's a lot of that going on. But Hanging Moon is the closer. There's a few other tracks I would have chosen as the closer. That's an odd one for me to be a closer. I mean, In Her Blood could have easily have ended the record. The title track,
the sleep song. In Her Blood sounds like a faster.
So
sleep.
I put Torch and Neurosis.
That's okay. There you go. Yeah.
Yep.
Because of like the runtime, which come on now. And just the beats per minute. I was like, this is just this. I was like, listening to it, I was like, this is just a faster sleep.
It gets so fucking heavy in that it's like in the middle of nowhere. It's just like, oh, we're dropping like an octave or something.
To me, it's either that or Last Light or the closers.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
To me, like, but given the knowledge I've been bestowed with, Last Light as an opener makes way more sense artistically.
Yeah. In Her Blood, the way it just kind of unravels at the end.
Yeah.
As like a thematic thing, it would make sense. I fucking love that weird slidey kind of riff throughout that whole thing though. I'm like, whoa, this is so cool.
Yeah.
So that's some Dimebag shit right there. That's a whammy pedal, boys. Now I got the listening to that track because like Swindle and I were kind of having a conversation about this track earlier in the week. And I kept going like, all right, this has to be one of the tracks that Kurt's using like a weird open tuning on. And I think that low string is tuned real fucking low to really emphasize that. They're not using the whammy in the way I thought is, where they're kind of like pitch shifting everything lower. Kurt's very pro to use that thing as just a noisemaker, which is great. But I do appreciate and have always liked how Converge uses their tools more so as utilitarian, as opposed to like a lot of these kind of modern like fuck, metalcore is kind of butt rock at this point, but like these modern metalcore bands using it is just something to annoy the fuck out of me when I hear something. Like, I don't need to hear like just brash, like high end, just shit all the time. If I want to listen to that, I'll listen to the Great Southern Trendkill and enjoy the hell out of myself. But In Her Blood, like the use of the whammy works so well, and Kurt has done that ever since, and it's just a great tool.
I fucking love the kind of, I don't know if it's tapping or just like hammer off riffs in Dropout. The end of the song, they like kind of, it plays for like half the fucking song. That is a Converge riff that lives in my head all of the time.
I think you're right. I think it's a tapped riff.
Swindle, you're a hardcore kid, right?
Yeah, kind of.
That verse in Heartless, that American Nightmare to you? That American Nightmare riff to you? Yeah, and again, Boston band. So like,
sure,
toured together. Maybe a pair. And again, I would never, ever accuse Converge of ripping riffs, but like maybe like some parallel thought as far as like a straight. But because to me, Heartless is pretty much a straightforward hardcore song. So I heard that and I was like, yeah, I think the song I wrote down. There's a Hole in the Shadow of Peru off of background music, one of the early American Nightmare albums. Like I listened to that verse in Converge, I was like, all right, so of course it's Converge, so it's faster and choppier, but it's very, very similar. And like that kind of stuff, that's the stuff I like to nerd out on. Cause it's just kind of like, they all knew each other. Maybe it's like cause bands will reference other bands' lyrics or like drop the name occasionally. I'm like, I wonder, I'd like to pick his brain. I'm like, hey, did you guys maybe reference to your boys?
There's one thing I wanted to bring up about like hardcore and doing things that, and this is coming from someone that did not grow up a hardcore kid. I found hardcore later on.
You're better
and
off.
And, Jesus Christ. This band technically does do breakdowns, but in a sense of that they're right. They're much more creative. I kind of put in my notes here, it's like, it's more so like fucking meltdowns with this band because of how they pace them, and like, it's essentially a riff just slightly paced differently. It's not just the open note kind of thing that which we all hate, right? Like that's the thing that we hate the most, are those open note, just, they're not impacting the song. They're not making the song better. They're being utilized for lack of creativity, right?
Right.
That's the thing.
There's, I think it's on Hope Street where the riff just falls apart.
Yeah.
Into like, it's kind of a breakdown as like they're almost like a bridge. And then as like an outro, it's like, again, but like, no, it's just slower now and we're going to play. And he's still going to treat all the toms like they've upset him. Like it's there. I like, you can like, the thing about, like you were talking about Ben's drumming earlier, is like, there are songs on here where I'm just like, is he even bothering with the snare? And is the hi-hat, is the hi-hat ever closed? Like, because it's just straight like, and like it, to me, like that's, people talk about like the abrasiveness of Converge. And to me, it's just like, how hard can you hit these cymbals? And how close can you get the microphone? Because that's what I hear when I hear Converge. Cause like abrasive is the perfect way to describe them. And like, you're talking about like the breakdowns, and it's almost like, I think Converge is so serious that there's a sense of humor to it. And there's a song where, Death King. That's the one where the drums are just all toms the whole fucking time.
You're absolutely right. Yes.
Yeah. And they lead up to like a breakdown, and it's like the dumbest. And I don't mean that like in a mean way. I mean, like it's the most straightforward breakdown. And it's almost like they think it's funny that they wrote a breakdown, because when the song's almost over, they play the breakdown for one more measure. Like, dun, dun, dun. Like it stops. Like, haha, we're done. Yeah. Dun, dun. And then it's just like, all right, you guys are goofy.
So
you guys are giggle.
I could be wrong in this, but I believe once he transitions from this complete tom fill basically for a good portion, it's just a blast beat, and then it enters into like boom. Death King's a great track that I think just gets missed because it's in between a literal Converge classic, like a metallic hardcore classic, and Inner Blood. Like, we haven't talked about Eagles Become Vultures yet, but the video for the album, classic Converge, it's like two riffs. It really is. It adds more of that kind of like Motorhead meets Entomb swing that they have. Another great breakdown.
Yep. The breakdown's great. It's kind of like, yeah, sludge meets hardcore. There's bends. There's like some other like, convergisms, obviously. There's some great layered vocals in it. I love the verse riff. To me, sounds like a sped up version of like Celtic Frost Hellhammer type stuff.
Yep.
Like it's just the way it's played. It just feels like a souped up version of like Tom Warrior. So
it's the first song when I got a phone. It was like the first song I could download because they were on Epitaph. So I made it my ringtone.
Eagles
Hell
become
yeah.
vultures.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. The venom and tears. So I downloaded it from like the Verizon shop. And
Oh my God.
and it was like that, and it went for like way longer than it should.
Oh, is
Like
it
a
like
ringtone?
the
It was like,
digital version?
dude,
Oh, that's
it was,
awesome.
but like it was compressed as shit, but like you could still hear it. But like it went off during I had went to the movies and I had it in my pocket, and it went off during a chase scene in Shaun of the Dead. And it was like me and like 3 other people in the theater, and like we were just kind of like, we were like, I'm not turning it off because it matches. like this is chase scene music. Like this is and like Shaun of the Dead's happening. I was like, it's great. But to real quick, to an honest thing, like how to me, if they were like, Patrick, come and ruin this record, I would be like, this is the first song, no question. I'll die on this hill. But again, we don't want to be Converge about a Converge record, to Converge about a Converge record. So it's almost like they purposely buried this one at the back end of it, and like it upsets me. Because it's the hit. It is. It's the hit.
They do mention in some of the notes, like in like post release of this record, like some of the tracks that like essentially have made more of the set list were kind of like buried in the middle, and like had maybe they could go back. They'd kind of mix up the sequencing a little bit here. So yeah, no, I agree. I don't know. I love like every song on this record. I do. I don't know if I would have necessarily organized it the same way, but I don't know. I don't know. There's no perfect answer. I think it is a great record, and I think I enjoyed the way it was laid out. But yeah, if I could go in there myself, like I don't know if it would play out the same way.
But I also think that adds to the fact that all 4 of us here would probably sequence it differently from the other one, right?
Sure.
Like it just shows like different preferences to how we want things sequenced. And it also shows and gives credit to a band like this of being able to have a catalog or an album that you could sequence differently, get a completely different vibe from, right?
Sure.
Like open it up with a hit, or open it up with like a slower track, or open it up with a dirgy track just to be really fucking crazy about it. Or, ending it with Hanging Moon and like being completely weird and going like, we did that for a reason. But it just shows like how beautiful this band is, and on the artistic side of like, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Well, with that said though, like favorite riffs, favorite particular moments on the record?
God.
Well, I said Drop Out, the end of that one, the tappy riff.
Yeah.
Also, the last riff of, or not, maybe it's not the last riff, but one of the last riffs in Heartless is another, like that is Converge riff. Like when I think of Converge, that's one of the riffs that I think of. Also, the fucking sing along, chant along of Hope Street. No one will break your fall. That's fucking classic.
The pull-off riff at the end of Black Cloud that keeps going, that gets more nuanced as it goes. That's pretty fucking gnarly. I think being that You Fail Me is essentially one riff. That's as intense as it can get to show where the band's going to go, and kind of like being fans of Drone and, Neurosis, and kind of taking that element to it. Those are some of my favorite parts of the record. The stomping breakdowns, like at the end of Heartless, and there's so much shit on here that it just, there's not a single moment on this record I dislike.
In the notes, people, I guess they played it before they recorded it. People were like, they didn't like You Fail Me, the song, the title track, because it like sounds so different than other Converge. There is like a song from Jane Doe. It's like creepier and slower, because slow year is not a word.
It is
Slow
now. It is. It is now. It is now.
But You Fail Me reminds me of a song from Jane Doe, the one that like starts with that's like kind of just like bass. It's like da dum bump bump bump
Yep.
bump bump ba da 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 dum bump bump. But those songs remind me so much of each other because it's just like we're kind of chilling on fucking rhythm for a while.
People don't like music. I'm convinced they're just
Guilty as charged, bro.
music is stupid and also sucks. Anyway, sorry, Dylan.
Right.
What were you saying?
I was going to say those are people we don't associate with that can't make comparisons to the album that came before it because they have some sort, they're putting it up on a pedestal to go, nothing will ever be as great as this, when in reality, you can enjoy new shit from bands that you like. You don't have to
Sitting
hate everything
right
fucking new.
Like, wow. Right here.
What are your favorite?
just
riffs from
lay
the
it
record,
into 'em.
Pat?
I'm gonna cheat here. I like that the transition part that's there for no reason, and when eagles become vultures, when it's like the main riff and then the like that, I'm like, hell yeah, that rules. It's just like that. I like the little that I don't want to say goofy shit, but like just to be like just to a band of Converge's caliber to end on a like it's just like all right, man.
All right, Ted Nugent.
I love the I love the what is it? Fuck, what was the song? Not Cat Scratch Fever, the other one.
Wango Tango.
Wango Tango part.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
The Wango Tango riff.
We are
And then-
making these references in this episode.
Yeah, but honestly, my favorite riff is not a guitar riff. It's the bass drum hits during the breakdown on Heartless.
Yeah.
When there's that pause.
Yeah.
And like
Yes.
Yeah.
Ben's
Yes.
just dun dun like that.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
like you don't really normally a band during that would be like cymbal or just everybody stops or like a snare or a roll, but he's just on the bass drum, just keeping time, and like that whole riff is off. Like it's not in a standard, but when he hits that pause, it's on time, and then he goes back to me, which I just think speaks to the band's ability to just like be a unit. That's the only way. Like if I had to describe Converge, I'm like, they are just a unit. Like everybody is zeroed in on, but they're all masters of their craft. And it's one of those things where like, I just recognize that I'm not gonna like everything they do, but none of it doesn't suck. So the things that like, it's just hard for me on this album because there's a lot of things that I'm just like, but the things that hit are just so top notch when they do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, some of my standout moments, like the end of Black Cloud, where it goes like that mathy kind of riff, and then it almost like shifts into variations of it that almost sound kind of like High on Fire and a death metal band at the same time. That's rad. Love the end of Dropout. I also love like the dance beat at the end of Dropout. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably one of my favorite riffs on the whole record is like the fucking hook that is the end of Heartless. Like that whole section, that riff is fucking great. It's melodic, it's memorable, it's heavy as shit. Love it. The kind of like repetitive nature, like almost like kind of like how Uniform does like a dirge. Just like we're just gonna keep hitting this until the wheels fall off. That's like the end of You Fail Me for me. Is that's great. I mean, there's just yeah, I could go on and on. I mean, I really do enjoy all of it, and I think to Pat's point, if we're gonna like look at a Converge as a unit, I think this record, with all of them and what we know about the background of just them like actually being able to really kind of sit down and write together, like truly for the first time, I think this is like this is a great starting point, at least for what's to come. This is a fantastic record.
Before we get into what they would go on to do touring wise, there is a tour story before they recorded this album that I missed earlier.
Oh shit.
But apparently they were playing this club that had a marble polished dance floor, and before the show they were all kind of
fucking around,
sliding across the floor, pretending to surf and ski. because they were bored, and there's nothing to do when you're on tour except drive for 10 hours. Then all of a sudden, Kurt Ballou comes barreling from the other room, holding their merch bag like a toboggan, not this toboggan, but like what you sled on, running full speed and dives onto the floor. But since it's just a canvas merch bag, it just like stopped, and Kurt kept going. And he broke his fucking arm being a dumbass on tour.
Kurt Ballou, scientist.
I love that. Yeah, it wasn't like Ben or like Nate was like, this is like one of the smartest people I know, but he's also he bit for a bit, like he was like, he's also kind of a dumbass. Like
everybody has a moment. Everyone's like, I've had it. I got to do something.
Yeah.
So they took him to the hospital. He got a cast on. Then for some reason, when they got back to the venue, he immediately cut the cast off. And then he played the rest of the tour with a broken hand. Nate did say that on that tour for The Saddest Day, they had to get one of the other touring guitarists to like just play one note so that Kurt could play the intro to The Saddest Day.
Right. Because they said in the story, like, he'd kind of figured out like pretty quickly how to play a lot of the material with like 2 fingers or something.
Bar
like
chords, bro.
Yeah, just oh my god, what the fuck? But yeah, you would think like that happened before the record. You'd think like, oh shit, that might kind of alter or prolong things, but doesn't sound like it did. And it also sounds like they kind of continued to fuck around and be like goofballs into like the touring after the record.
The belt stories, like I've heard about those for years.
I had never heard about them.
Ben just like flagellating himself with his belt to get him warmed up. And then what was it? The Mutoid Man guy started doing it. He's like, you guys got to settle down.
Oh my God.
Brodsky and Mutoid Man? Or is it one of the others?
Yeah. He sings and plays guitar in that band. Again, I heard about that band, I think, before I listened to any Converge when I was growing up. So I don't know why it happened that way, but it did. Yeah. Could you imagine going out on these tours with like, again, with the Cave-In guys, maybe they had started doing it then. And Between the Buried and Me, I guess that's like probably like the first tour after that. A bunch of these idiots just like
smacking. Yeah, so they would go on tour with Between the Buried and Me. They would go to Japan with Mastodon and Isis. That's a hell of a tour.
Speaking of some weird fucking stories, could you imagine those green rooms during this period of time?
Yeah, crazy.
Weird hot dogs and all sorts of drugs.
They went to Europe with Planes Mistaken for Stars. They went on the Exclaim Aggressive Tendencies tour in Canada with Terror, Cursed, and Mayor. Also a hell of a tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
In 2005, they went on a November tour with Red Chord, Darkest Hour, Ringworm, and Municipal Waste.
I went to that tour. That's
really?
The tour I saw. Ringworm wasn't on that show, but I did see that it was Darkest Hour, Red Chord. That was the show that the Red Chord just kept saying "goddamn" at Rocket Town. So that was fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Notable Christian video that we mentioned in the past. Yeah, that's the first time I saw Converge, and I was like blown away, like incredible.
As I mentioned earlier, after this record, they would start a collaboration with Cave-In. It never really went anywhere, I guess, as far as that part of the collaboration went. Apparently some of the rough ideas of songs would make their way into the Axe to Fall record. Steven would collaborate later with Converge in the Blood Moon record, but I don't really think any of those songs were part of this collaboration at the time.
If we could have got the Concave or Virgin record, wouldn't that have been something? But yeah, they teased it quite a bit. Virgin. Dude. Yeah.
Dude. No, you guys need to understand that deserves more credit than the two of you fucking gave it. Like you two, like I love you guys, but Austin was on a next level with that one.
Oh yeah,
you guys didn't give it any fucking shine.
I didn't. No,
he didn't come up with it. He didn't come up with it.
They were calling it that.
They were.
Oh,
That was
Yeah.
the band.
The
I
bands
retract
were
my statement. Austin
Yeah,
deserves
no.
nothing. Let's move on.
yes.
But
Welcome to the show.
When I read it, I didn't read it as virgin. I read it as verge in with like a, because they had a hyphen.
Yeah,
So-
he would, wouldn't he, guys? Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would do that.
But you know, they teased it as early as like '04 with like, hey, we've like already kind of recorded like 5 songs, rough ideas. Like there's gonna be like 7 or 8 people on this fucking thing. We got plenty more songs to come, and then it just never happened. Like
Right.
So I don't know. It would have been cool, but I guess we got that Chelsea Wolf record. I like that record. I think that's record's rad.
Yeah.
Spoopy.
A little long, but good.
Yeah.
It sounds like Converge meets Carnival music. Like Tom Waits and Converge
Yeah,
wrote an album
absolutely.
Anti-records,
Absolutely
baby.
does.
Let's do it.
together. Also around this time, Jake starts working on a solo project called Dear Lover. I actually don't know if that ever met the light of day or not. So
Probably became
Let
his.
us
I wonder if a lot of that stuff went on to be in the Weeping Wound project that he did years later.
in 2005, they would also remix, remaster, and repackage 2 albums, Petitioning the Empty Sky and Where Forever Comes Crashing. They would repackage it as Petitioning Forever. I think the records also got remixed by Kurt, and I'm not sure who
I
else.
think they came in a single album because I have it over there.
Right. And then in 2006, they would start recording No Heroes.
So the only other thing I can think of about this record is that
Hey, there's that record.
hey,
Hey,
there's
there
the
it
record.
is. There's the Redux.
They did a redux of this record in like 2016.
Yeah, mine's on white, but it's hardcore, so it's probably like Marrow or some colorway.
Right.
Well, somebody look up the hex code. Yeah, I don't. They have like, you know, as Swindle had mentioned, like Kurt, not like the biggest fan of the production, and he wanted to go back and kind of redo the mix on it. So I mean, I guess they really did everything on it, right? Like remixed it, remastered it, even got Alan Douches to come back and do it. But the thing that like it's like crazy to read that like, hey, you guys probably thought I went back and did like I got the original mix and just kind of fucked with it. No, I had the raw tracks and I had to remix that shit by ear to make it sound like it did on the previous like recording. Like, could you imagine? Like, I just have to like use my ear to try to like recapture what we did and then like make it how I wanted.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy to me.
There's
Insane.
also an additional song on the re-release.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Was at my door.
Well,
Yep.
Blacklisted reference? Who's to say?
Which I guess was like another one of those songs that he mentioned. Hey, I had a weird tuning. It's a promise ring tuning, and they didn't. The rest of the band wasn't about it, so it just kind of didn't make its way to the record, I guess. And
You guys ever going to do a promise ring record, Swindle? Because I think you'd probably be down for
Well,
that.
Personally, I fucking love the Promise
You and
Ring.
me both, bro.
That's the Jade Tree influence coming out
Yeah.
to Converge.
there
I'm
it
gonna
is.
bum these 2 dudes out.
Yeah, we're not already there. We're already bummed out.
I think they did good by not putting Wolves at My Door in the
I agree.
original. I don't think it's a bad song, but I don't think it's really adding anything to.
It was
agree.
weird that they added it to like they put it into the track
Yeah.
list as opposed to
Right,
saying
yeah.
right.
Yeah, it
That's
comes after
weird.
it comes after Vultures.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
strange. Adding it as like, hey, here's another track, like cool, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of bands do that, but you know, interjecting it into the track listing was kind of wild, especially when I don't think it was initially supposed to even be on the album. It wasn't even considered to be on the
Right.
album.
Yeah.
Now I will say I found an original master of the record recently. Like I had to go to Discogs because I wanted to have both, and it's on the original one. It's on the vinyl.
Weird. So that's it. That is You Fail Me. Pat, what'd you think about this record?
It's fun.
Where do you rank this?
Oh, don't
amongst your
do
Converge?
this. Don't do this. Because I am the antithesis of what Converge wants out of a listener when they write a record. All right.
Okay.
I am an album guy through and through. I always have been. We've talked about it. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't. I mean on Earth, not the show. But I'm saying that like when I go back and I listen to Converge, there are albums that I'll all the way through. Surprisingly, Jane Doe, You Fail Me, not those albums. I will listen to Petition Empty Sky or Petition Empty Sky When Forever Comes Crashing. I'll listen to those all the way through because and Poetry Diaries especially. But Poetry Diaries, mostly out of like a nostalgia thing. Like I can recognize that those aren't probably their favorite songs, but they're my favorite songs because they were my first. So, and even like No Heroes all the way through, Axe to Fall, I can listen to all the way through. All We Love, We Leave Behind is probably my favorite Converge album, honestly. I think that album is phenomenal. Dusk in Us is the only one that kind of misses me in a way. And I don't really know why. Maybe I haven't given it the attention that it deserves. But when it comes to like You Fail Me and Jane Doe, you can't say they're not great, right? But I will, and I did it today. And I'm not proud of myself. I skipped the slower things because I was like, it's not what I want out of Converge, and I'm a selfish boy. So when I listen to Converge, if one of those songs come on, I'm like, this is cool, but I could be listening to this other song. And then like I'll hit skip. And like, so You Fail Me it's probably like a mid-tier Converge record to me. I know that's not a popular opinion. It's a genuine opinion. I'm not trying to be a contrarian about it. I mentioned just a swindle earlier today. Like I'm kind of nervous about this because I don't have the love for it that a lot of my friends do or that you guys have. I'm just kind of like, it's got some bangers, but it's also got some things that I, as a listener, am just like, this is not what I want out of Converge. But it's not, Converge ain't for me. They're not writing for Patrick. They're not writing for anybody. They're writing for Converge. So as long as they're into it, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's this record in a nutshell, really.
I think there needs to be like, once we're done with them, there needs to be like a, where do you rank them kind of thing, as opposed to doing it like halfway through. I do want to say this to Pat. When you do listen to the new record, there are leeway riffs in that new record.
Sick.
There are some like
Does he go for
moshy,
it?
like dumb. There's some moshy, dumb shit in this new record.
Man, the older I get, the more I'm like, just give me the dumb shit, dude.
It's there, but it's so much fun.
Yeah. I like this record a lot. I think I would, it's a lot of fun. I think you could pull like the signature tracks from it, listen to those and enjoy it. But also as a record, I think it works for me. Maybe it's not sequenced the right way, like that I would naturally, like I'm like, maybe move it around. But I think every track has something to enjoy. I think there's like the weird shit. There's the more straightforward shit. There's like experimentation that they hadn't done before on a previous record. And so that like I think there's just so much to love about it for me personally that I would probably rank it much higher. And we're still working our way through this shit, so like maybe that'll change. But as of right now, I mean, this is definitely up there for me. Swindle, I don't know how you feel about it coming out of this research, and you've listened to this record before, obviously, but You Fail Me.
I haven't listened to the record the full record in a long time. Last Light and Eagles Become Vultures are like part of my like working out playlist, so I hear those songs out of context like constantly because they like make me want to be alive for 90 seconds longer.
That's good.
Yeah. This record is the fast songs rip. They're all fucking 2 minutes a piece, essentially. Black Cloud, like there are songs on this record that when I imagine Converge's music, like it is literally songs from this album. It's not like as just nasty as Jane Doe. Like it's not like makes you want to throw your headset across the room so you never have to hear this shit anymore. But
that's
like,
Listener, who these guys are responsible.
Yeah.
But I think that works to listener, not the band listener, the person listening. I think it works to their favor because it's not like the most abrasive shit you could possibly throw at someone ever.
And, obviously the new record's out. We've talked about it. I think you'll definitely hear some of the more straightforward stuff that you heard on this or throughout their discography on Love Is Not Enough. It was released on Friday the 13th of this year through Epitaph Records, still going strong with them. From this record onward, they're going on tour, so you can catch them upcoming co-headlining tour with Poison the Well, a bunch of bands that we love like The Armed, Spy. They're going to Europe, all that shit. I think just as a general rec, I feel like if you like Converge, you should definitely check this record out. It's fucking lean and mean and fucking rad.
I think if you're even interested in Converge at all, or just want to see a ripping live show, you go see Converge. My girlfriend, Emily, she's a youth crew kid through and through. Righteous jams. That's her jam. That kind of shit. She went to a show with one of her friends and they saw Converge and she's like, I get it, but I'm not going to listen to it. And she's she's a tough sell. And she's like, no, every time Converge comes through, we're going to go. I'll never listen to them in the car, but I will go see them because it's just they're just so, they are to me the pinnacle of a live hardcore band. Even if the crowd isn't, because I've seen them play to crowds who were kind of like, not really there for them. They win everyone over because they're just so like Dylan has said, like Nate is such a in your face presence. They're all just have this, when they're on all cylinders, like there's no band better than them. Live.
Jake, like
no one touches them.
Damn near 50. Jake is still like fucking running back and forth like constantly throughout the fucking set, throwing his microphone everywhere.
Wearing a long sleeve fucking shirt while he's doing it too most of the time.
Yeah.
I've only gotten to see them once and I thought it was like, with you. It was the tour they curated where it was like Uniform, Thou, Full of Hell, all the bands which I love, but it was my first time seeing them and I was fucking blown away. It was such a great performance. So like I hope to catch them soon in support of this record and see what it's like. But yeah, it's fun.
They fucking were the last band to play and they ended their set and they came back on for their Encore, yes. And they started Eagles Become Vultures, and we were like leaving, and they started playing Eagles Become Vultures, and I was like, God damn it. And Austin was like, do you want to stay? And I was like, no, fuck it. It's midnight. We're fucking leaving.
It was late as shit. Yeah.
Dude, this is our last song. Deuces.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't
out.
Done. Guys, you forgot to turn your amps off. Oh my God.
That's my least favorite thing is when people are like, oh, it's over. I'm like, the lights aren't up yet. Like, how are you new?
Yeah.
Have you not?
First show.
Like, is this your first foray into concert. This? Like, come on, guys. Like, trust me. There's only one band I've ever seen that's been like, this is it. We're gone. And that's Lamb of God. That's the only band I've ever seen do that. Randy's like, this is it. Usually it used to end with Black Label. Now it ends with something different. But it's like, I'm done. We're out.
Yeah. Just fucking call it a day. All right. We don't have to do this whole dance. But yeah.
Rex?
That's a rec. And I'll start. Really straightforward one. Power Violence Hardcore from Milwaukee. New song by World I Hate. It's titled Your Phantasm. It's going to be coming off of their sophomore LP, Total Nuclear Annihilation. It'll be out March 6th through Convulse Records out of Denver. I really like this band a lot. It's heavy. It's in your face. It's abrasive. Was a really big fan of the previous LP, I believe, Years of Lead from 2023. Think it features some members of Judiciary, Low End, Cross Me. If you like Power Violence Hardcore, Weekend Nachos, Endless Blockade, Hatred Surge, Think I Care, I think you'll like this a lot. I think they have some shows as well, so keep an eye out for that.
I'm gonna recommend. I have no reason to be jealous of at all. Kevin Morby, his new single Javelin. It's a single off his upcoming album. Little Wide Open via Dead Oceans record. It'll be out in the middle of May. Good indie country shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Moore, he's cool.
I guess I'll go. I have two. Newest single from Corrosion Conformity. The guys are back. Track's called Gimme Some More. It's off their new forthcoming album called Good God, Bad Man. That's bad with 2 A's. I love Pepper Keenan. I love Pepper Keenan and Down. I think he's got a killer voice. This record's going to come out through Nuclear Blast Records on April 3rd. It's their first release since 2018's No Cross, No Crown. It's the first release with Dean leaving the band, Reed's passing. It's COC. It's got some cool like bluesy shit going on in it. I hope a gator makes an appearance on this fucking record somewhere. I love Corrosion Conformity, in particularly the Pepper Keenan era. Second rec is based off of an interview I just recently saw. I'm going with Lamb of God's As the Palaces Burn. What a ripper of a fucking record. I think it's underrated because of what it comes before. That's where the band really became Lamb of God to me. It's got the title track on it, Ruin, 11th Hour. Vigil is at the end of that album too. And it's just a blistering fucking record. And from a band that we just discussed this evening, having a vocalist that can still cut it really well and has somehow kept their voice. Randy's been able to do that shit that he does and sound like a vulture for almost 30 years and can still do it and doesn't sound like he's about to die. So check it out.
My Rex, my first one, very topical. This is some inside baseball shit. If you get on YouTube in that little search bar and you type in Hate Verge, one word, HATEVERGE, forever ago, I believe in like 2004, Converge was playing a show at Whiskey A Go-Go. They wrap up their set. And as soon as they're done, old Jamathan Josta from Hatebreed jumps on stage. And with the backing band of Converge, with Nate, Kurt, and Ben, they plow through about four Hatebreed songs.
Amazing. Oh my God.
So you got 3 dudes from Converge playing Hatebreed songs, and it fucking rules. Since I saw this forever ago, I joked that Glassjaw is my number 1 favorite band by a landslide, and number 2, fucking Hate Verge. No releases, only played live, 4 songs. Hate Verge. It's so fun. You get to see people just having, the crowd is insane. Danny Diablo.
Oh no!
Oh God!
Danny Diablo shows up on stage and does vocals on one of the songs, and he's in full on gear, bro. He's Danny Diablo'd out.
He's in Scarhead mode. That's the single most terrifying human being ever.
Yeah. He is. He comes out and doesn't really do a song. He's just there like, yeah. And like, it rules. So YouTube, Hate Verge. It's incredible. My second recommendation, I caught a lot of heat on my last appearance for a film that I may have taken a jab at. So never to pull a punch and to lean into the bit. My second recommendation is the documentary film Overnight. I have copy and pasted the description here because I don't want to slip up. Overnight is a documentary film by Tony Montana and Mark Bryan Smith that chronicles the meteoric rise and subsequent fall of bartender turned filmmaker Troy Duffy, focusing on his deal to write and direct The Boondock Saints for Miramax. This film captures Duffy's initial success, his band's deal with Maverick Records, and his explosive temper and arrogance as his Hollywood career implodes, alienating friends and business partners. It serves as a cautionary tale about ambition, ego, and the harsh realities of the film industry. It is one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. It's extremely fascinating. I mean this. This is no irony. If you want to watch someone who's never not smelled their own farts and tried to convince everybody that they're flowers, we all know a person who, like, no matter what you tell them, like, yo, man, that's not going to work out. And they find a way to make it work out and then destroy it immediately. And like, that's what, maybe I see some self-sabotagation in this man's actions as we reflect. Maybe I have failed someone. So it's fascinating, the documentary. It's way more fascinating than anything that actually happens in Boondock Saints, emphasis on the boo. As I said before, I'll double down. Boondock Saints, that shit is mall food court cinema at its best. It is for trench coat kids who won't commit to the bit, if you get what I'm shooting at. It is
That's
truly,
staying in.
it is truly 4chan Doom cookie nonsense, and I will not apologize.
Yes.
And also, if you found this bit to be somewhat interesting, and if you liked what Dylan said, I can say, Dylan, I did see a little bit of a spike in the sales of Your Kids Are Ugly on Amazon.com, which I will throw the link to Austin to include. And by the time this episode comes out, I'll have 2 new re-releases of some stuff that I worked on before that will go up as well.
Killer.
I Love You, Thank You, which is about my first truly sexual experience. And The Peace Offering, which is a novella of sorts about the time I made a candle with poop for one of our mutual friends who will remain nameless, who is a listener of the show. So it wouldn't be me on this show if I didn't call Chaz out. Put on your big boy pants. Get on here.
Pat Fagan, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on again to join us for another roaring rendition of our long and long-winded series on Converge. Pat, we love you. Please come back.
Not for No Heroes.
Not for No Heroes.
Not for No Heroes.
No, not for No Heroes. All we love, leave behind. Yeah, sure. Why not? But no, I'm good.
You can listen to Pat on the Through Being Cool podcast. I believe you said you had some episodes in the tank, or going to be recording some in the tank.
Yeah, they'll be there, I guess. That's
we also have some episodes that you can listen to at any time, or not. It's fine. You can follow us at Riff Worship Pod, Instagram, Twitter. We have official playlists, Riffs on Repeat, Hits from the Crypt on Apple Music. You can email us at riffworshippod@gmail.com. Say hey, send us stuff. I don't know. But for myself, for Dylan, for Swindle, for Pat, you've been listening to Riff Worship. We'll be back next week with something else. See ya.
Bye.